Kachine, AALIYAH GUYTON entered the portal not long after the season was over, and got a lot of suitors. There were a lot of not very smart people that responded to her decision. You're not going to make it in the Big Ten. You're not going to make it in Power 5. You're going to go D2. That's just called stupidity. But she ends up at Illinois. And by the way, the Illini have brought in a bit of a haul. All right. No pun intended with Hall and Hull on this Indiana Fever team. But Illinois has done very well. Some people thought she was going to actually go back to Indiana where her dad played and was an All-American. She ends up at Illinois. Let's just wrap this in a bow because we haven't thrown this question to you, Kachine. I know you. I think I can speak for you in saying you were disappointed with the decision. We don't know what was said, what contact, if any, was made during the season. I know there's always the smoke out there that her dad made some comment on social media, so that means that she was talking to other schools or he was talking to other schools, and maybe he was. I'm not aware of any rule that prevents him from doing so, and you don't have to like it, but maybe he wasn't too. I don't know. I was a little surprised, even though the rumors were out there. I thought AALIYAH would give it another year, simply because you're losing Lucy. And you're losing ball handling. I mean, Sydney faltered. I mean, she's a leader. She was going to take up a lot of minutes. So I was surprised by that. And you're bringing in a freshman in ADDIE. Now they've since made an addition. As Chris said earlier, very excited about that. But just your thoughts on AALIYAH moving on, and how surprised were you when the announcement was made?
Well, you guys know I'm always honest. So the original, when it first came out, I was pissed off. Not gonna lie, I was very upset. Okay. Because kind of what you said, like, you got a great start to your career. It was gonna be a situation where the job was yours if you wanted it. Scenario, like.
See, some fans don't agree with that. They say, well, she wasn't gonna play. Well, they're wrong. The fans are wrong.
Here's the thing. At the
end of the day, you're wrong.
A freshman is coming in, period. Who has no
5-star though
experience.
She's a 5-star, Cash.
You know how many 5-stars come in and don't play?
I know, and I agree.
Okay. I agree. And I'm not wishing that on Deal at all. I'm not saying that. But you already have a year under your belt. You're already ahead of the curve. So that spot is up for the taking, regardless of who was coming in or not. So in my mindset, I'm like, okay, this is your opportunity. You're going to have a year of college basketball under your belt. You're going to have spring workouts, summer workouts. So I was originally irritated. Then the news about Raina came out. Then it kind of started to make sense. Because I was like, okay, they all knew. Because she's interviewing for a head coach position job. So that's not something that is secret. Like, they knew. And when she got the job, I'm sure she told the team that it came out. I'm sure she got the job way before it came out. That's a fact. Yeah, so the team knew. I don't know if Tania is going with her or what, but still a possibility. Who knows? And so I think all of that in turn, those are the people that she was the closest with in general. And so knowing that one of them definitely was gone and another one possibly could be leaving, I can understand the switch. And then on top of that, where she went, I'm like, okay, so she went back home. That makes more sense. So I wasn't as upset after kind of like things started to shape up. I was like, okay.
And I'm not asking you to provide insight on Chit Chat. I want to make that a different segment because I think people are going to be excited to hear your comments in full on Chit Chat Right. But did the addition of Chit Chat Right help kind of fill that void? I mean, I think first of all, eligibility is very similar.
You said they're similar?
No, eligibility wise, they're very similar.
Oh, okay.
Well, they are. They're exactly. They each have 3 years. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
they have different games, but they each have 3 years.
I agree. It made it much better.
Okay. And by the way, I think very highly of AALIYAH GUYTON as a person. The interactions I've had with her, I think she's a very good person. So I'm not going to say she wasn't warm and fuzzy, but I do think people are going to perceive the whole thing as that she's the enemy. And I hope people don't boo her when she comes back. That would be unfortunate. I just don't know why you would do that. If you're going to boo her, boo the living daylights out of Bryce Sanford. Boo him till the moon is gone. because he went to play for Illinois is not a rival of Iowa women's basketball. You know who's a rival of Iowa men's basketball is Nebraska. All right. So go boo Price Sanford if you're going to boo anybody. Anyways, yes, I know there was a coaching change there, but nevertheless. And by the way, AALIYAH Guyton, say what you want about how she played. She's selfish. That's, again, short-sighted, not understanding to what Big Ten basketball is all about, and also recognize the fact that she did not have an offseason leading up to her freshman year, a normal offseason, because of her injury. She came back during the season. There's a lot of things. So I know people don't want to focus on people who are no longer here, but Kachine, thank you for providing your insight on this, and I wish the best to AALIYAH Guyton. And I do think it's hilarious, though, the people that as soon as she left and Iowa went and pursued this Jada Williams girl from Arizona, who, by the way, then went to Iowa State. There's always narratives. There are always narratives out there. One of the narratives when Jada Williams went to Iowa State is Iowa pulled back. All of a sudden, Iowa wasn't interested anymore in a former 5-star that visited. Like they never offered her. That's the narrative out there. Well, that might be what some people in the Iowa women's basketball sphere want, that information. They want that information out there, but I'm not necessarily buying that.
Nobody is paying for an official visit to not offer. You've already offered.
Ding, 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 ding,
before you pay money for somebody to come on campus.
But I was told by all the little Twitter warriors out there, Kachine, that she never got offered, and Iowa pulled back. They decided there was something wrong, and they decided, no, well, we're no longer.
No, she went to Iowa State for whatever reason, because that don't even sit like a good fit.
We wouldn't want to tip our cap to Bill Fennelly in Iowa State, right? We wouldn't want to do that.
Still, that was a weird fit. By all means, maybe she wanted to play with Crooks. Yeah. Maybe she wanted to play. I don't know. It's still weird.
I don't really care. They don't compete in the Big Ten. I don't care.
They don't. It doesn't matter.
So anyways,
like, oh, okay.
And I'm fine if people want to boo her, but don't give me this false narrative that is just being thrown out there by people with an agenda. And then, of course, when they went after her, people then went out on a limb and said, well, there's why AALIYAH was leaving, because she knew they were going to bring someone else in. Or they were bringing someone else in because she left. Like the idea that, maybe it was the Raina Harmon thing. I think that's more likely. And keep in mind, AALIYAH also committed to Lisa Bluter, not necessarily to Jan Jensen. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the recruiting dynamic there with that staff was when AALIYAH committed Kachine, but we all know Jan was hyper-focused on bigs, not on guards. So, when you committed, you had a coaching change, you're a guard. When you committed to Lisa Bluter, had she hung it up before your freshman year, would you have reconsidered if Jan Jensen had taken over? Or is that hard to kind of look back on?
Probably not. Jan is just as a part of everything as Lisa is. That was like her right hand way back when. So if you're getting recruited by Lisa Bluter, you're getting recruited by Jan. So I don't know. Maybe not. But
is that just your perception of it, though? Could there be some players that committed because they wanted to play for Lisa Bluter?
Yeah, possibly.
As opposed to Jan Jensen. I mean, it's not like those two people are conjoined twins. I mean,
No, for sure. Yeah. But I do think that there's a couple of reasons why you commit to a school. One of them is your head coach, right? But a lot of it is also fit too, in regards to how you felt there and just the feeling you get around the program and different things like that, fan involvement, all of that other stuff, right? So I feel like when you're weighing that option, you still have to consider all of the other reasons why you committed. Because if that was the case, then anytime a coach left, everybody would be leaving.
Right. Well, on the Iowa side, the men's side, everybody did leave.
They did.
But
I think their problem was more so they all needed a fresh start. And I mean that nicely. They done got demolished by the fans and everybody else. So I think everybody just wanted a fresh start, and they used this opportunity to get one. Yeah,
and there's more money being thrown out on the men's side.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So when you have rumors of $2+ million being offered for a player to go back to his hometown and play for 1 year, and a guy who may not make the NBA, man, would any of us turn down that opportunity, Kachine? Would you turn that down?
Nope.
I don't know how you turn it down, even if unless you're hey, I'm all about loyalty, but when your coach gets fired, So to some extent, I'd say I have nothing personally against Price Sanford, but if you're going to boo Aaliyah Guyton, boo Price Sanford.